Last time I was in an M5, it was 2018, which was when we first got the F90 generation, and today we're driving the facelifted F90 as it enters one of its final years before the next generation, which could include hybridization. So thanks to International BMW for letting me have a go so we can take a proper look at what could be the final non-electrified M5. The BMW M5, the shining golden benchmark of what a sports sedan, luxury sports sedan, can and maybe should be. The pedigree that comes with the M5 nameplate is just unparalleled. We've got E39, E60, F90. It's hard not to like this car. It's fast, it sounds good, it looks good, and the interior is nice and practical too. Let's dive under the skin. The M5 gets the 4.4-liter twin-turbocharged V8 S63 engine, but this is the competition spec, which means more boost, and thus more power. The power is dialed all the way up to 617 horsepower and 553 pound-feet, and all that power goes through the tremendous shift logic that BMW's programmed into their ZF 8-speed gearbox we're so familiar with. And not only that, but the sound that accompanies this thing is unreal. And it doesn't even matter if it's sunny or snowing or raining or whatever, because you get standard I or M X-Drive all-wheel drive to get all of the power getting down to the road, at least until you want to play around a bit. With the M X-Drive, you can be in four-wheel drive sport, which sends a little bit more to the back, and two-wheel drive if you want to get a little bit sideways, which I guess technically makes this not an all-wheel drive system, but a four-wheel drive system, and maybe some would argue 4x4, which, if that's the case, this is the fastest 4x4 system, the fastest 4x4 I've ever been in. Jokes aside, the capability and speed you get from the M5 rivals supercars from even only a couple years ago. 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. Adaptive sport suspension, M LSD differential, and M brakes. And all of that with 2 weeks worth of Costco groceries in the back. The English coined a term for a car like this that I think fits really properly, and that's super saloon. This is not a sports sedan, this is a super saloon. And it is. It's obviously pretty heavy for how modern and full of luxury amenities it is, but it's as sharp as a knife, it's as powerful as river rapids, and it sounds like rolling thunder. And yet, all of that can be dialed down and relaxed to something that still somehow manages to feel plush, comfortable, and befitting of a luxury sedan. The balance that this car pulls off is unreal, but let's step outside and talk a little bit more. This thing is clinical behind the wheel. It is fast as hell, it sounds pretty good, and it gives you a decent amount of drama. We talk about it splitting the difference between the luxury and the sport thing really, really well. There are very few cars that do that. But thinking about this M5 and thinking about the future of the M5, like we've said, the future of the M5 seems to be electrified, hybridized, that's all but confirmed. And then the future of the 5 Series in general, right now we have an M550 in the lineup, which gives you the 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8. It's not the S63 that you get from the M division, but it's still nice to have a V8 option in something that's not quite as aggressive. The future 5 Series will not have that option. They will all be straight 6, likely to be 58 or whatever next generation of that engine will be. But talking about the way that this thing looks, the thing that I've always really liked about the 5 Series, and the M5 in particular, is it's always been subtle. It's always been just like the distinguished hooligan's way to get around. And this spec, I think, reflects it. Of course, it's black sapphire. The thing that I really like, again, is these anniversary roundels that you get to celebrate the M division and their birthday this year. You've got revised running lights. Again, the facelift was 2021, so this is a 2023, carries that styling over. You've got revised headlights, a more typical kidney grille, you'll love to see it, and then some pretty aggressive intakes and air extractors, radiators and things down in your lower valence. And then across the side here, we've got big upgraded 20-inch wheels wrapped in, the Pirelli P0 tires. You've got M compound brakes. You can get carbon ceramics if you really want to, but the steels should probably be fine unless you are legitimately going to track pretty frequently. But again, it's a conventional sedan shape. You have subtle things to remind you that it's an M car. You've got the M, fang wing mirrors. I believe carbon fiber roof is standard, so you've an optional sunroof here. It's not pano, which we'll get to on the interior, but it's a nice and handsome familiar sedan shape, and I really like that with the black wheels. The murdered out spec is very nice. You've got a subtle lip spoiler back here. It's very tasteful. Another anniversary roundel, M5 competition, and of course your lower diffuser and your quad exhaust. Everything is black, everything is gloss, everything matches, it's cohesive, and it looks really good. So let's step inside. And then the interior, like I said on the exterior, the M5, the 5 Series, it's always been kind of about subtlety, subtle super saloon car. And it's kind of mirrored in here. I mean, we talk about BMW interiors, a lot of the design is carryover, and that's a good or bad thing depending on who you are. The good thing is the design is nice, it's tasteful. The downside may be that it doesn't have as much personality or flair as something, I don't know, like a more bespoke Lexus or something like that, but it is still very nice. You've got a fully digital gauge cluster. You have a huge head-up display that just completely turns into a tack when you're in M mode, which is really, really nice. You do have some really nice design elements on the interior here with your carbon fiber weave dash. You've got M colors in here, but it's not too aggressive. You've got M stitching on your inside of your wheel, a little M badge in your wheel. You've got the light up seats. I'm a sucker for it. It gets me every single time. And then you have M stitching subtly on your seat belt. Of course, you've got ambient lighting and some things to spice it up at night. In terms of the materials, there are some gloss black plastic pieces around your center console and your shifter, but generally most everything is built pretty well. There's not really any interior creaks or rattles that I've noticed. And in terms of luxury amenities, I mean, you get really nice stuff in here. You've got heated seats, cooled seats, heated steering wheel, you've got Harman Kardon audio, plus you have seat massage up in the front, and you of course have a plethora of baby shades or sunshades or peasant blocker, whatever you want to call them, in the back seat. So it is pretty nice, although BMW largely prides themselves on their modern cars for being somewhat of a tech fest, and you get a lot of good stuff. We talked about the huge head-up display, the nice fully digital instrument cluster, their adaptive driving suite, their autopilot, quote unquote, is very good. I like it a lot. This is running iDrive 7, so it's the technically previous generation software. Of course, that'll be updated with the new generation either next year or the following. The i4, I think the new 3 Series, but not the 4 Series, are running on iDrive 8, and of course the iX as well. I don't have a single problem with iDrive 7. I like the wheel still down here. I still like the fact that you can use touchscreen. It's easy to navigate, it's quick, the graphics are fantastic. I have no problem with it whatsoever. The only issue, and it's not even really an issue that I have, it's just I would never use the gesture controls. They're just kind of a gimmick that I wouldn't use, but again, you don't have to use them. You do get the augmented reality 360 cameras, which is fantastic with like some reverse assist. You get wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto Standard, and then you've got great space. You've got a fantastic amount of space in your front seat for your passenger and even in your rear seats. This is a high performance super sedan, and you still have plenty of room in the back seat for kids, adults, basketball player, it doesn't matter. And you have a huge, deep, cavernous trunk. So it's an incredibly usable package, as it always has been. It remains to be the standard. I think that's probably a good time to do final thoughts. As ever, the BMW M5 is the gold standard for the sports sedan. It's the Goldilocks zone and perfectly balances sporting performance with comfort and luxury. I know the concerns about hybridization stem from losing the characterful V8 for soulless electronics. However, it sounds like the next M5 will still carry a V8. However, if you don't want to gamble on this future and you want a truly exceptional sports sedan with a shot of personality, then this M5 is for you. Thanks again to International BMW for letting me have a go in this fabulous super sedan.